Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chatting It Up. Today we have Betsy Milane on the show with us. Betsy is an amazing realtor from Gibson, Sotheby's, and she's going to tell us a little bit about how phenomenal she is. Turning it over to you, Betsy. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you grew up.
Well, I grew up in Muskegon, Michigan, and I adore Michigan. It is cold, the snow, the freshwater lakes. I used to sail. I used to ski. It was wonderful.
Wow, look at that. Is Boston a big change for you comparatively?
Not really. The climate is so similar, but I went out to Boston College. So that's what got me out here, and that's what kind of kept me out here.
Right. And just minus a few lakes, but we're good.
Okay.
So I know, just a few lakes less. And so what did you think that you'd be doing when you were young, when you grew up? Did you think you'd be one day?
Actually, I was always a tremendous reader. Laura Ingalls Wilder's my heroine. I absolutely love reading, but I also love writing. I was an English major. And so I've done a bit of writing, but I think that to get published is like winning the lottery these days. So I now write stories about the houses that I sell, because there's a story in absolutely everybody.
That is for sure. Wow, that's amazing. And is it like long story, short story, descriptions?
Oh, no. It's just that I love getting to know people's stories. Right. It's amazing. People don't think that they have stories in them, and they do. Would you like me to tell you about the Brighton house that I will be selling soon?
Yes, absolutely. That's coming up. So right after I ask you this question, and what inspired you to follow your present career path?
Well, what would you like me to answer first?
The inspiration behind what you did or what you're doing.
Well, you know what? I was a stay-at-home mom for many, many years. It's hard to find a job after you've been out of the job market for a while. I was always really, really good in sales, and I always love houses. So I fell into real estate. But my father was my real inspiration there. And I'll tell you a little story about him.
Please do.
One cold winter morning in Michigan, I got up and went downstairs to eat my cereal and watch my cartoons. And my father was still home. He was just heading out to work, and the phone rang. He picked it up and he said, "Oh, gosh, I'm really sorry to hear this. No, don't you worry. Just keep unpacking. I'll take care of it." Then he reached over and got the yellow pages out, and he thumbed through the yellow pages. He dialed a number, and someone picked up and he said, "Joe, hey, it's John Netto. And I got to tell you, you've got to do me a favor. I'm going to call in every favor you owe me today. You've got to get over to 123 Happy Valley Road with a furnace. Yes, you've got to get over there with a furnace. They've got no furnace. They need heat. They've got kids. Thank you so much for getting over there." He hung up the phone, and my mom stood in front of him, and she said, "John, you're giving away a furnace? You've got 6 kids." And he said, "You know that house that I sold yesterday? You know that really happy family that's moving in today? Well, they went over there to move in, turned up the heat, no heat. They went downstairs, no furnace."
Wow.
She said, "What?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm taking care of it." Now, my father didn't call the police. He didn't call the seller. He didn't call the attorneys, didn't call the other agent. He just made the problem go away. He said to my mother, "It's my name on the sign." And they got kids. And he also had to sleep nights. So knowing that he'd taken care of it allowed him to sleep, and it also taught me a lesson that you own every aspect of the transaction. You just do what's right. And, the business will come. And I've learned that to be true.
Wow, Betsy, that is an amazing story.
That's the way he conducted his business. And I think it's a lesson that is worth repeating over and over again.
Yeah, for sure. And you tell it so well.
Oh, thank you.
And what is your absolute favorite thing about what you do?
It's got to be the people. I mean, obviously the houses are the houses, but it's the people. It's the joy of seeing a house and wanting to buy it and then buying it through me. I am kind of a project manager in a lot of ways, that I solve problems before they become problems. People don't, well, if I'm doing my job right, they don't see problems because I make them go away. I throw myself in front of them first. I also love selling houses because it's so much fun to see people transitioning and see what they found was special in a house. I give presentations at the senior center, and I say a house is so much more than just the bricks and mortar and countertops. It's a place where they're going to enjoy that special bowl of ice cream late at night. It's that stair that creaks that tells them their kids are home by curfew. It's the neighbors across the street that you look out on a snowy day and think, are they doing okay? And oh my goodness, they're bringing their snow blower over here so I don't have to take care of the snow in my driveway. That's what a house is all about.
Right. Love that. And so the hard question for you, because you're such a pro at this, what's one thing that you don't like about what you do? Is there anything at all?
You know, once you figure that out, you know a way around it. Sometimes all agents aren't created equal. So I find that when I get into a transaction, I'm going to make it smooth for everyone on each sides of the equation. And if that other agent doesn't know to do it, I do, and I'll just take care of it.
Right. Excellent. And please tell us about that awesome house you had mentioned earlier.
Oh my goodness. I love this story. I don't know if you've ever driven around Brighton, but Brighton has many squares. And in the squares, they say Lieutenant William so-and-so, who died in the First or Second World War or Korea. They've named a square after them. And if you really drive around, you see the churches, you see the grocery stores, and you see the old, wonderful houses. And my imagination starts running wild, and I start hearing the bells of the churches calling it a worship, and I hear parents, calling kids into dinner. Anyway, I met this wonderful fellow at the Center of the Heights in Needham, and he has a house to sell. Well, saw the house, and it is a great beauty. It has been neglected, but it has the wonderful curved staircase and the leaded window at the landing of the staircase. It has the crown molding. It was made of Roxbury, or the foundation is Roxbury pudding stone. So the pocket doors that were put in the 30s roll as if they were put in yesterday. It's such a great foundation. Anyway, he told me a wonderful story about the place. Back when he was growing up with his brothers, and they were all teenagers, perhaps even beyond, their mother was taking in boarders. Their father was not around to make money. And what she did to entertain the boys was she would ask them to invite their friends over. So they would push back the furniture, roll up the carpets, invite all the neighbors in on a Saturday night, play music and dance and feast on what she was bringing to the table and have a wonderful time. And the neighbors knew their house then as Club 31, because that's where they congregated on every Saturday night. And I love the thought of that if you walk around the property, you also see these fruit trees that the boys planted for their mothers, a fig tree, a pear tree. I can't remember what the other one was, but you can imagine her going into her garden. Oh, a grapevine. Mm-hmm. You can imagine her canning and picking the fruit and thinking about these boys. Anyway, pretty terrific.
Wow, that is amazing. What an awesome story. And and my all-time favorite, Roxbury pudding stone.
Yes. Is that something?
That's one of the oldest rocks.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
He was very,
right.
He was very proud of it.
Yeah. The other half of that is in Africa still.
Really?
It is.
Wow.
I know. And it even has a poem written about it by Oliver Wendell Holmes.
I didn't know that. I like that.
Pretty
I'll have to read it. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And so tell me about some of your hobbies. Do you have time for hobbies?
I absolutely have time for hobbies. As you can imagine, with the storytelling that I grew up around, I love to tell stories, but I also like to write stories. But as I said, I'm an unpublished writer, but I also love to volunteer. A few years ago, I had an opportunity to really make a difference in the lives of kids who have cancer. I joined Circle of Care, and from just joining them, We had great fundraising initiatives, but also I trained volunteers to go in and give respite care. And I have the stories from these kids that are just incredible. Kids with cancer are so brave and so honest and so receptive to a little kindness. I love, love, love their stories, and I've written a few of them down. So maybe something will happen there. But that's one of my hobbies. I'm also part of the Rotary, the Needham Women's Club. I find as I get older, I want to make more of a difference. Now, here's another way that I make a difference. If you buy or sell a house with me, I bake. From Thanksgiving on, every night, I am doing my specialty cookies, and I package them up and I send them out to all my clients, and they love them. So I love to bake. I love different recipes. I've got, though, my tried and true, which I usually do around the holidays. I also read. I'm a voracious reader. I always have one or two books going on. I bike, I walk. I love to travel. And gosh, this year, during COVID, my daughter gave birth to a precious little girl, and they're now in Chicago. And I will drive straight through, because at the end of that long trip is this little baby, and it makes it all worthwhile. I also have a son, a daredevil in Boulder, Colorado, who is always, I don't even want to hear what he's doing these days with his radical climbs and bike rides and things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. And congratulations on being a grandma. Thank
you. I had no idea. I feel like I've joined a club where we all get it, right, when we say that we're a grandma.
That's amazing. That is so awesome. I don't
know. Take it over the shock of having that moniker.
Right. I don't know how and where you find the time to put all the stuff in. It's amazing.
Thank you. It's great. But then I network a lot, and I get to meet good people like you, which just really makes my world go around.
Love it. And, you know, Father's Day is coming up. Would you like to do a Father's Day tribute?
I don't know. You know, my father was usually sailboat racing on Father's Day. We never really enjoyed any holidays because he had three great passions in life: his family, his sailing, and his business. Mm-hmm. So he was always out sailing, and you know what, if that made him happy, we were good with it.
Right.
So he's passed away. So I just trust that he's wherever he is, he's got a good sailboat race to be in.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Betsy. And if there's anything else you'd like to add, please do so.
No, thank you. This is so much fun.
Awesome. And one more quick question before we sign off here is, where are all the different towns that you do business? All the houses and places that you sell?
That's a really good question. I'm not someone who's just centered here in Needham, right, because I go where the business takes me. I get referrals for all of my business, and it's taken me up to Salem, down to Brighton, over to Sutton, down to Scituate, over to Littleton, but obviously Needham and this area too. So I go wherever the clients want to work with me.
And Wellesley as well.
Yes, absolutely. Wellesley as well.
Yes, I think last time I saw you, you were doing something in Wellesley. So
yes.
Amazing. Excellent. Look at that.
It's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been such a pleasure.
It's been wonderful for you to do this. Thank you.